When it comes to prospects for the Braves, there has been no shortage of surprises. And this year, my guy to look out for is Ignacio Nacho Alvarez, a shortstop prospect. And the biggest reason for that being is because when you look at this lineup on the field, under contract in the outfield, Jared Kelenic, Ronald Acuna, Michael Harris, all through at least 2028 in the infield, all through at least 2027 outside of Orlando Arcia, which is really the one weak spot. You go look at Orlando Arcia last year, all-star in the first half, really good defensively, showing signs of becoming a consistent offensive player. The second half of the season, he was a below replacement level player and frankly, hamstringing the team. Ignacio Alvarez, 20 years old, great contact bat, going to begin the year in Double-A. I'm not saying he's going to make an impact very early in the season, but at the end of the season, if Orlando Arcia is not pulling his weight, Ignacio Alvarez progresses in Double-A, moves up to Triple-A. He'll be knocking on the door of the majors. And as we've seen time and time again, Alex Anthopoulos, not you, Alex Anthopoulos, is not afraid to move these guys up if he feels that they can help the team.
No. Last year it was A.J. Smith-Shawver. The year before it was Michael Harris. Alex Anthopoulos is not afraid to streamline a prospect if he feels, one, there is a need. Obviously, there does have to be a need. In those two instances, it was injuries. And, as Braves fans know, injuries are inevitable. The teams dealt with them last year. Next year, the year after, they're always going to be there. It's a part of the game. And let's just say, even outside of the production side of things, like you're saying, that like Orlando Arcia, if he doesn't pull his weight and Nacho is just raking in the minor leagues, there's a real conversation that needs to be had about who can give the Braves the most right now as October approaches. But another scenario is if Orlando Arcia does, in fact, get hurt we did see him get hurt there for a little bit. And Vaughn Grisham came in, mightily struggled defensively. A similar scenario could certainly play out where Nacho starts in Mississippi, works his way up to Gwinnett. Orlando Arcia goes down. Nacho gets the call. Alex Alvarez wants to see what he has in this prospect. And the rest is history. I mean, A.J. Smith-Shawver looks to be one of the future pieces of the rotation. Obviously, Michael Harris, we're all very high on Michael Harris. I think he's going to be MVP contender one day. The next guy up could be Nacho.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget about Spencer Strider in there.
Oh, yeah.
Don't think about Hurston Waldrep, who definitely can make his MLB debut. Now, I do not think this is, as I said, I don't think it's going to be a first half of the season thing. He hasn't even played in Double-A yet. We should temper our expectations, but there are certain guys that have made impressions around scouts, and Alvarez's defense has really improved at shortstop. It looks like he can play there. Yeah. We saw how important that was in the Vaughn Grisham, and that's the reason why
the reason why
he's no longer with the organization, why Orlando Arcia is currently the starting shortstop. So if you believe Alvarez can be competent defensively at shortstop,
right,
there's a good chance he could be better offensively than Orlando Arcia, who is essentially an offensive zero for most of his entire career. Alvarez, that contact bat is very impressive. He slowed down at the end of last year, still hit almost like 280, 290, hit above 280, hit 290 in high A realm. He's going to make a big jump at the Double-A level, but contact bats typically tend to move up well throughout the minors.
Yeah, and I think, specifically for the Braves, that feature power up and down the lineup. About the three at the top, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, and of course, Ronald Acuna Jr. If there is one thing that this lineup is missing, maybe it is a bit of that contact. And Jared Kelenic is not a contact guy. He's also going to come in here and rake home runs as well. So if there is one thing this Braves lineup is missing, it is a little bit of that contact. Obviously, Michael Harris, he's a career like 290 hitter. So we got some contact there, but you can never have too much. And for a position like shortstop, as you mentioned, the reason why Vaughn Grisham is no longer in the organization is he couldn't play defensively. And when you got a lineup as good as the Braves, if you're the shortstop, your number one priority, and then it's number one, and then number 2 and 3 are way down. It's playing defense. So if Nacho's defense can translate, like you mentioned, and have that contact bat, there's a real possibility here that he's the long-term answer at that spot.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about this, because as I mentioned, there's not very many holes on this team when you're looking at the future. I wouldn't even consider Orlando Arcia a hole technically, but when you're talking about
a stopgap option, he's more than fine.
When you're talking about the long-term outlook of this team,
right,
Nacho Alvarez is probably hopefully going to be the starting shortstop of the future. And he's really the only position player the Braves have that's worth a damn or really shown something. He's been mentioned as a top 100 prospect, but I believe Baseball Prospectus already. Fangraphs just did a piece where they had a group of guys that they believe will be top 100 prospects next year. He was on this. So this is a guy that's really building up steam as a prospect, still just 20 years old, will be 21 in April. And as we've seen, I just don't expect it. And if he doesn't, I don't think he definitely doesn't have to. And there's going to be nothing wrong if he just plays AA and AAA. I mean, he's 21 years old.
I was going to say he's 21 years old.
But in that same breath, by 2025, look out for this guy, because I definitely believe next year, if he does not make his MLB debut this year, we'll have a chance to earn a spot on the Braves opening day roster.
Yeah, potentially compete next spring training for the starting shortstop role with Orlando Arcia possibly.
Yeah. Coming up after the break, Russell Wilson, that guy, Russ, let him cook, believes he can win 2 Super Bowls before he retires.